I'm sitting in my chair late at night, watching crime unfold under the pale moonlight. From the darkest corner, stories unfold. True crime jewels, she's brash and she is bold. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From missing kids in Tennessee to angry husbands named buried. True crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This True Crime Jewels got what you need. From missing people to twisted minds, we're unraveling secrets old Barry tried to hide. Every clue, every twist and turn. In the world of crime, there's always more to learn. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep into the mysteries that never sleep. From Christopher's anger to Stephen Fisher's lies. The truth is calling, and justice won't be denied. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. True Crime Jewels on the YouTube streets. Lights are low, suspense is high. We're chasing truth, we spot every lie. Step into the darkness, hold on tight. Two flashlights out there in the dead of night. On the YouTube screen, we're digging deep. Barry Morphew's case is hot. A boy in Tennessee won't be left behind. From the coldest cases to the ones that shine, true crime's calling, and we're taking the time. So grab a seat, don't miss a beat. This True Crime Jewels got what you need. We're always watching Barry and waiting for the truth. In the world of crime, we discuss the proof. So hit that play and join the True Crime journey with Jewels of Thought and her gemstone family.
Hey folks, how are you guys doing? Uh-oh, my music's still playing. Hang on. Sorry.
Watching crime unfold under the pale moonlight.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that. You know what I thought? I got off that previous live and I thought, Jules, you're better than that. You can do a better job than just simply cussing like a low IQ alcoholic dopehead, right? So that's what we're going to do. How's that? So, hi, Selena. Welcome. Good to see you. Wake up, Lisa Faulkner. Good to see you. Show Poodles, True Crime with Sweet Melissa. Sweet Melissa. Hey, wise old lady. That makes two of us in here, girly. All right. Show Poodles. Let's see. Opinionated. Opinionated. She's back and she has an opinion. Okay. We're all in this together. Hey, Kelly-O, good to see you. Hoppy. Welcome, my friend. Yeah. Hey, Denise. Tiff, good to see you. Yeah, I'm pretty horrified. Okay. I'm horrified by what YouTube does to people. Let's be more specific here. What YouTube and TikTok do to people of little character. If you like that description better, put a 1. Okay. I think YouTube, TikTok, I think these social media platforms, I think they can be a great tool. I think they can bring out the very best in people. For example, when Monkey Vaughn went missing, his mother, his family reached out for help. Gabby Petito is another clear example of a family reaching out for help. Suzanne Morphew, she went missing. Her brother reached out to the true crime community, and wow, they put together one of the biggest, greatest actual grid search looking for her in the mountains of Colorado. And unfortunately, her sadistic husband Looks like he's the one that done her in and, buried her in a shallow grave along with the carcass of an elk about an hour south of their home, while everybody was actually looking toward Denver for possible clues. So one thing is for certain. There is a great group of people on YouTube and social media, Facebook, TikTok. There's a really great group of people that have an enormous amount of empathy and love and selflessness that they are willing to share to help others and to make life better for others. And I personally am really, really blessed to know a lot of those people. So I want to start there. The flip side of that, though, is that I think platforms like TikTok and YouTube, I think they attract people that have real personality disorders, people that truly are narcissistic, perhaps, possibly simply sadistic. And unfortunately, I think that the case of, Sebastian Rogers going missing, 15-year-old kid on the autism spectrum, who went missing, and that case, for whatever reason, and I have my suspicions, that case has attracted some real losers. There's a group of people that have been drawn to this case, and they are all, I'm willing to be corrected. I'm absolutely willing to be corrected, but it does appear to me that there's a great deal of felons, alcoholics, drug addicts that are drawn to this case, and it's baffling. Really, it's very confusing. You did not see those dynamics in the organized searches around Suzanne Morphew. You just didn't see that, and I'm a little bit perplexed about why this particular case has attracted these pretty sadistic and destructive people. And part of me believes that it's because of, the Proudfoot family. I think the Proudfoot are not particularly principled. I don't think they're of high moral character based on their own actions online. I'm not just throwing nonsense out. I'm 100% have videos to show a judge why I come to that opinion. But worse than them just being of low moral character, I believe that they hired people to inflict damage. And I think what they were trying to do is to make the experience on YouTube for the pro Sebastian, pro Seth Rogers creators and subscribers. They wanted to make it so uncomfortable that we would all stop talking about the case and go away, which is a little strange, isn't it? Is that what you would do if your grandson was missing? If your grandson went missing sometime between midnight and 6 a.m. and your son came to you and said, gee, I don't know, Mama Boom Boom, he just poofed. Would you be proud? Would that be your proudest moment? Yeah, me neither. So I kind of think that is where this is coming from. We know that he hired SF Investigates, a supposed private investigator, and this supposed private investigator kept putting out information that was wrong. He was intentionally putting out lies. Okay, Christopher, what's your secret? Like, what's your theory on how that helps find Sebastian? That your hired hitman is going to flood the conversation with inaccurate information. What's your mystical genius that none of us understand? What are you doing? And Christopher, maybe you can explain how it is that your sadistic mother hiring Texana to try and destroy Seth Rogers' nonprofit organization that they have not even signed the papers on, Proudfoot. It's not even up off the ground. That is not what you are presenting to the subscribers, but you know what you're doing, don't you, asshole? See, there I did it again. I can't help it. So what I want to what I'm going to talk about, first of all, before I get into my real topic, which is sadistic mothers and the influence that they have on their male offspring. We're going to talk about sons of potentially narcissistic and definitely sadistic, controlling mothers. How does that impact them and influence them? How does that early trauma from living with a sadistic, manipulative mother, how does that affect you in adulthood? All right. So before I start that, I would like to address Julie Skolnick. Now, Julie, you came onto this platform with a tail. I don't mean like a dog. I mean like a fictional account of one's intentions or purpose in life. You see, you have completely misrepresented yourself to the people online. You are manipulating people to believe that you care about people with autism. And I admit it, I bought into it. I trusted you when you came on and started talking and telling your part of why this was something that was dear and near to your heart and how you got involved in the Sebastian Rogers case and why you ended up over here in true crime YouTubia. But after sitting back for a few minutes and realizing that about 80% of the nonsense you say on your channel is absolutely fictional, then I realized, oh, she's just a grifter. She's just a grifter like all these others, and she's here with an agenda. Now, previously, she believed that using autism would be a way to manipulate mothers who have children of their own that are autistic. And to be fair, there is a great audience online on these social media platforms. There's a great audience for mental health information, right? You pay attention. The people that start up channels capitalizing on like Dr. John or Dr. G, where you say, oh, I am a clinical psychologist or I am a forensic psychologist. And they build their channels based on that persona and that information, those channels blow up. Okay, people want to hear that information. They're hungry for that information. So, you know, I think starting a channel as kind of like a self-help or group support platform for other parents, other families with autism in the family, I think that is a super idea. I do. I think it is a really great, admirable idea. But I think Julie got a little taste of the true crime world. And I think she realized she could get a lot more views by hurting people than pretending to run a self-help group online. And I think once she began to get the true crime views, then she was like, whoa, this is great. Look how fast I'm growing. I never got this much growth with my little autism channel. This is what I want to do. And so as soon as she did that, she had that realization. She looked for the low-hanging fruit. She looked for the person that was being targeted for bullying by the largest group of what the people that she could see in the short term, which is the Krama community, right? Illuminati, J is for Justice, that Queen Bee, that group. And she said, okay, so how do I get on the inside with this group of people? Because they're the ones that have all these followers. And I mean, after all, she's basically subscriber sniping, right? She's going around on different channels and going up on platform and saying the most popular thing to say in those channels. And she chose Brittany J first. That was the weirdest moment. She made this video about Brittany J talking about, oh, Brittany J said the most horrible things about her, right? And I thought, what? How did that happen? That does not sound like Brittany J. What is that about? So I got really curious and I listened and I listened and I went through the theatrics and I watched her cry. I watched her go to her poor husband, Al, who I think may be long suffering, if you know what I mean. And I thought, what is she doing? Like, she's intentionally setting the camera up to capture she and Al having this discussion, and she's crying, all because Brittany J slandered her. And I was like, wow, this is something. Like, I was very disturbed by this. And I was so intent on this. And I kept thinking, how did I miss what Brittany said? I mean, all she's doing is just crying and making her poor husband miserable. But I never heard exactly what it was that Brittany said. So I went over to Brittany's live, and she had like a 4-hour live that night, right? Well, guess what I did? I stayed up all night listening to Brittany J, trying to hear her slandering Julie Skolnick. And guess what, y'all? Didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I thought, is this lady insane? What is she even, like, why would she be doing this live and weeping and saying that Brittany J called her names and her autism subscribers are so upset? And she does have people, she's got some subscribers that love her and they care a lot about her, and they are being really manipulated. And some of them have abandoned the channel because it's gotten so weird and so crazy. She threatened to sue Brittany J when the whole Rico thing was going on. I mean, it was really sadistic. I never would have believed that a woman who was mother or stepmother to kids that are on the spectrum, I never would have believed that person would have had a sadistic bone in their body. Like most of us, when we see someone struggling, even maybe we don't even like that person, right? But if you see them struggling, that part of you takes over, that you think, oh, I want to help. You know, I certainly don't want to add to this person's grief. But I want to, you know, at least be respectful and give space, right? Oh, no, not Julie. No, she made up a completely false account. She announced over and over and over that she had been slandered and never told anybody what it was. No. And when you went to Brittany's channel and listened to the entire live stream, nothing was ever said like that. Nothing. All right. So I was like, okay, what's happening here? Like, this is very, very strange. And she was just, Seth is great, and Seth is wonderful, and Seth, and Seth, and Seth. And she wanted to have that Sheriff Eric Craddock arrested. She wanted to go after the law enforcement. I mean, she believes that she has a lot of power. I don't know. I don't have that kind of power in my little world. I can't imagine. I mean, what gives Julie Skolnick so much power? Like, is she a mobster? Is she a mob wife in New Jersey? Kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of weird that she thinks that she has the cojones to bully the leader of the law enforcement in Hendersonville or Sumner County, or should I say it, the entire state of Tennessee, TBI. Oh, thank you, Michelle. We have wisdom through Michelle. Thank you. She is an attention-seeking stepmother of autistic children. Now, I think she grew weary trying to get the attention of certain people that she thought would grow her channel, that she could become a mover and shaker in the streets of YouTubia. But us, those of us in this channel, we know better. We've been around here since the Chris Watts days. We stay over here. We mind our own business. We don't do drama. But we certainly have seen this situation come and go, haven't we? How many people have jumped in trying desperately to be one of the cool kids, to be accepted into the badasses in YouTubia, only to burn themselves out? I mean, what about that Crimson lady? She just burned out not long ago. Even SF Investigates burned out. It took 3 missing people or murdered people before he finally bowed out. But woo, when he did, he went down in flames for sure. So I think that Julie Skolnick is like a snake oil salesman, right? She's just looking for a topic that would be something that would be of high interest in the world of YouTubia. And she'll tell you the only reason that she ended up on YouTube is because TikTok was going to be gone, right? It got sold or something I think they outlawed it or something. Anyway, so she was about to lose her money or her platform that she had. And I'm of the opinion now at this point, I don't think she's doing this for money. I think she just needs the attention. I think this is just a great source of narcissistic supply. Now, the latest steps that she has taken have really kind of made me nauseated, actually. And one of the things that, no, let me say this, please. Who in here thinks that I love Tony Mathis? Anyone in here under any illusions on my opinion of Tony? All right. I can't point at Tony and say you did this wrong or you did that wrong. But I do feel, my opinion only, and Seth knows this, my opinion is that there was an incredible amount of drama that seems to always, like, Tony kind of attracts drama. And I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I don't know. And that's not what this live is about. I can do a live about that later. And I told Tony this to his face. Well, virtually speaking. I've said to him, he knows. I don't have blind trust in him. I have I have 100% faith in Seth. Seth is a grieving man, and there is no doubt about that. None. I'm absolutely certain that Seth is a victim, that his child has been horribly stripped from his life with no explanation. And he is a man who absolutely demonstrates shock and awe that he doesn't know where his child is. He is in a panic the majority of his time. He is not guilty. He did not hurt that kid, not by a long shot. I'm certain of that. And if Tony Mathis brings Seth comfort, or if Tony is able to sort of keep a solid foundation under Seth's feet during this nightmare, then I think that's highly admirable. And I'm good with it. It's not my choice. It's not my job. It's not my circus, not my monkeys to pick whether Tony's a good guy or a bad guy. That has nothing to do with me at all. It is Seth's choice who his friends are. Do you understand that, Julie? Okay, see, now I'm getting mad again, and I'm better than that. Seth is friends with Tony Mathis, Julie. And I have a suspicion, Julie Skolnick, that the reason that everywhere you look, you see grifters, you see people that are untrustworthy, that are simply trying to use Seth. You see people that are just trying to take other people's money in scams. I think that is you projecting onto everyone else, Julie. I think you are the grifter. You're the one who's looking for an angle, lady. And I've come to the conclusion that the angle is channel growth. I think you have in your mind, this is all just a big, huge guess. What? Speculation. I think your plan, Julie, is to grow your channel as big as you can. And you don't care if you're growing it as an autism support group or as a stepmothers of kids with autism information channel, or you're just going to jump into the damn drama community. I don't think you care how you grow your channel, Julie, but you have a reason for growing your channel, don't you? There is an end goal. You see, I think Julie is one of those grifters that is playing the long game. And what I mean is this: she has written a book. Yeah. Who buys books? You buy books of your friends, don't you? Nobody needs to buy a book anymore. We all just jump online and get whatever we want to read. Is all right there, no matter what. But books, unless you're buying for children, books are quickly becoming obsolete. In case you hadn't noticed, Julie, that I think she has noticed. True Crime Rocket Science noticed. He figured out very quickly that the way that he had been making his living, which he's a real writer, he writes great books about true crime, but I think he figured out, hey, this is a new age. And I'm going to have to incorporate a social media following in order to keep selling my books, because that's 2025 for you, correct? So Julie's playing the long game. Julie needs to build her a channel. She needs to build a channel to develop familiarity and friendship with her subscribers. And when she's got a big enough channel, when she has developed familiarity and friendship with many subscribers, guess what she is going to release to the public? Anybody want to take a guess? And how many of those unsuspecting subscribers will buy her book even though they have no desire to read it or need to read it? Right? Now, that is a guesstimate. That is, you know how people talk about speculation? That is purely 100% speculation. But for the love of me, I don't know what else she could possibly be doing. I've never seen anybody make so many enemies so quickly. I've never seen anyone jump in and embrace making people angry and upsetting people. I've not seen that. Well, maybe I have occasionally. But you know what she did? This woman who comes on the scene and says, I love all people with autism. Autism, they need me. The community of autists, they need Julie Skolnick, and I'm there for it. Well, that's how she got interested in Sebastian Rogers, that he went missing and he had autism. And that means it was time for her to put her cape on and get out there and be the savior of Sebastian, correct? And my goodness, how did she sit upon her throne? Well, I don't know what this RICO case is going to do for Sebastian. The RICO case in Pennsylvania have anything to do with Sebastian going missing? Why don't you ask your new friends, Julie? Why don't you ask your little friends about real estate moguls and schools in Pennsylvania that need corporal punishment because the kids are so bad? You see, Julie, you got so focused on being the one to break the news. I'm the one that broke the news. I broke it. Queen Bee says, hey, did you see? Did you see where Tony Mathis? And man, Julie was pissed. She said, no, you didn't break it, Queen Bee. I broke the news. I'm the one that did it. They literally were arguing about who was going to get the glory for destroying Tony Mathis's wife and in-laws. That's right. They wanted to be the ones credited for destroying a man's life. So good for you, Julie. Great. Good job. You'll never convince me ever that you give a damn about people on the spectrum and their families. After watching what you did with Tony Mathis, no. I know what I'm seeing, and you don't care how bad you hurt people as long as you get your supply. That's all you care about. You are a bottomless pit of need. What you did with Tony, you actually said, oh, people need to know that Tony Mathis has had these things in his past and lawsuits and all these things that happen. They need to know before they consider giving him money. And then you went on to present as if Tony set up the Ponzi scheme. And I believe you did it on purpose. I think you knew that he was not part of the criminals that did the Ponzi scheme. He was an investor He invested. He was a victim of these people. He was victimized. And your unscrupulous ass presented to your unsuspecting subscribers that Tony was the grifter, that Tony was the one that was stealing people's money. You did that. You did it, and you did it knowingly, because you are not dumb. The reality, the truth is that Tony was one of a number of people that made an investment in this investment thing, and he benefited. That's how Ponzi schemes work, people. You get in the beginning and you are profitable, but the people that are getting in toward the end, they're the ones that don't see any payback on their investment. That's how they work. And he was victimized. He made something like $17,000. Okay. Trust me. I don't know. We can't all be so rich as Julie, Skolnick, and Al, right? They're rich. Yeah, we're not. We're just the commoners, right? Julie, $17,000. You are acting like he grifted $17 million. You're acting like he grifted $170,000. $17,000 was the payoff, and he made a legal investment. Do you understand that, Julie? Because you're not an idiot. He made a legal investment, but you know what? That doesn't sell, does it? You can't take that to the drama community. No one wants to hear that he got in on the ground floor of a Ponzi scheme and he ended up making a little bit of money. Nobody is going to get mad at him about that, are they, Julie Skolnick? No, they'll only get mad at Tony if he is the one that was tricking other people. But that's not what he did. He made an investment. You know, like when you buy, I don't know, Kraft stock, or you buy some stock in Disney, or you have the intelligence and foresight to buy some gold. You buy it when it's low, you sell it when it's high, right, Julie? Is that illegal? Is that illegal because someone had the foresight to buy gold in 2008 and now they can turn around and sell it for nearly double their original investment? Do you think that person is a criminal, Julie? Now, why am I saying that he is a victim if he made $17,000 on his original investment? Here's why. Because a group of the people that had lost money that were getting in on it at the end, so they were just out their money, those people filed suit. And the judge said, this is actually a Ponzi scheme. It is not a legitimate investment. And therefore, we're going to try to pull back as much money as we can so we can divide it up equally to everyone and at least try to get everybody back a little bit of their money, right? And so Tony thinks, yay, I'm nearing retirement. I'm an old guy, and I just made $17,000 that could help me and my wife in our old age retirement. That's cool. I'm glad I made a little bit of cash. Happy for it. And then he gets legal documents that say, actually, no, this is going to be real disappointing, Tony, but here's where we are. This was an illegal scheme. It has been identified and judged illegal by the court. And the remedy is to collect the money that we can of the original investments and divide them equally among those who lost their initial buy-in, to try to level the playing field. Julie, this happens to people. And it's sad for everyone involved. It will make you nauseated to believe that you have made an investment and you made money off that investment. And then a judge somewhere says, nope, just kidding. We need to take that money back. Sorry. So while you present Tony as a grifter and a scam artist, the reality is that he was a victim as well, Julie. Now, he was better off than a lot of the other people that bought in later on because he kept his seed money. He was able to keep his initial buy-in. It was like he was never a part of it at all, right? What he had going in, he got to keep. But the 17,000 profit that he made, that was taken and given to other people, giving them back their seed money. So no, Julie, you lied to everyone on YouTube, lady. Not only did you lie, and you're smart enough to know what you were saying. You knew you were lying, lady. Not only did you do that, but you fought with Queen Bee for you to get the credit for bringing this story to YouTube. You literally want to be identified as the person that brought this information to YouTube and harmed Tony Mathis. You want to be known as that. Okay, done. The problem is that what you presented was completely wrong. And I don't know, the people that I know that are in the helping professions, they don't want to go and hurt other people. They don't want to do that. So what is it you're up to exactly? Because you were not happy enough to present him, slander him, actually, legally. You slandered him to give the impression to unsuspecting people, trusting people that believed in you. You presented it in a way to say he was part of the original scammers. And then he was horrible because he was having trouble giving the money back. You then went on to pretend that you are an investigator for the court and that it is your job to dig into his finances and then, tell the whole world what you learned. Like, what's wrong with you, Julie? Do you know you're hurting people? Are you aware of that? And I don't mean a little bit of hurt. I don't mean your feelings hurt. I'm talking about old people who are trying to retire and you just like enjoying the idea that they could be homeless. Like you love that shit. What's wrong with you? Why would anybody want to be responsible for making someone homeless? Now, I know what you're going to say, Julie, because I've watched. I know you're kind for sure. You're going to go, I didn't make him homeless. He didn't have to get in on the RICO case. That was his fault. You want to know why they brought the RICO case, you little idiot? They brought the RICO case because this group of people on YouTube were unmercifully attacking Seth and some others. That's why they brought it. They didn't ask for money, Julie. They never asked for money. No documents ever were asking for money. They were saying, please stop talking about us, saying lies, calling us pedophiles. Please stop doing that. That was the heart of the RICO case. You have found your tribe. That's all I got to say. You and Jay, you guys, yeah, Thelma and Louise, baby. Y'all are two peas in a pod. It is hilarious. Okay. So you put Tony Mathis, his wife, his in-laws, You put their address, you put their financial information out on YouTube. You said things that I hope that they drag you through the courts for the next 30 years, lady. Now, here's the real question for Julie Skolnick and all of her subscribers from the autism community. Julie, will you explain how doxing Tony Mathis's wife, discussing their financial history, will you please explain to me how any of that helps find Sebastian? No? Like how? I don't give a shit if Tony Mathis or anyone, you and Al, have y'all declared bankruptcy? I don't care who declares bankruptcy, you idiot. It's the law. It's the law, you nut. Why do you believe, because you love families with autism, you love being an autism advocate, you put your kid's face or not your kid, but your stepchild all over the internet and talk about inappropriate things. So tell us, enlighten us. How does it help find Sebastian? You were so horrible about the RICO case and how you were so much smarter because you could see that the RICO would not help find Sebastian at all. Have you ever thought maybe there was a reason it was in Pennsylvania? Of course not. That you have no interest in that. You have interest in your numbers. You just want to grow your channel. So how? Tell us how talking about other families helps find Sebastian. Why does it matter that Tony Mathis made a profit on an investment and then was told he had to return it so it could be given as seed money to the other participants? He didn't break the law. He didn't do anything underhanded or sneaky. He saw an investment opportunity and he took it, just like people that had the foresight to buy gold starting in 2008. It's no broken laws, Julie. You don't. I know the answer to this, but let's play a little game, Julie. Why don't you try to pretend like you have empathy? Just try to guess what it might feel like to have empathy for another person. And you pretend to be Tony's wife. I want you to imagine this woman who thinks, oh, look, my husband made an investment and made a little extra money. That's awesome. And then they're told, no, you didn't. We're taking it back. And I don't know how it affects her life. Frankly, it's none of my business. However, then Julie Skolnick comes along and begins to tell the world about every little financial nuance in your life. You don't give a damn about Tony. Do you care about his wife? What about his kids? What about his in-laws? None of this helps find Sebastian. You're a horrible person. I am. You lie. boldly. You lie with knowing there is no way for anyone to see what you're saying because it's just a figment of your damn imagination. And then you sit back and you wait and hope that you're going to get some more subscribers. What you've done, the things that you guys are doing to Seth, it is unforgivable, Julie. It's unforgivable. You're looking at this like a game. You're looking at this like you're, on a mission to sell books, right? You got to grow your channel so you have the illusion of credibility to your subscribers. And then when you get enough subscribers, then you're going to release your book, right? I mean, I know the gig. But it's not a game to Seth. It's not a game to him. You saw the dark circles under his eyes. You saw how puffy that is. What you think that was a makeup artist, Julie? Unlike you, not everyone fake cries. Now you're good at it. In fact, maybe your new little friend, Katie Proudfoot, maybe she could take lessons from you on how to fake cry. There are some absolute precise facts here, Julie. One of them is that Seth Rogers walked out of work one morning with a message from Christopher Proudfoot that said, "Don't get mad, but Sebastian is missing." His world crumbled beneath him. You get on your channel and you cry and get all snotted up because somebody says that you're not Spencer's real mom, that you're his stepmom. You're literally crying and sobbing that someone said that. The problem is that is actually the facts, right? But you don't have the slightest bit of care or concern for Seth. We get to listen to Christopher Proudfoot every now and then. He twists off, creates a big commotion, online, and then everybody's horrified and they spend a week talking about it in horror. And then he goes away again for a little while, and then he comes back again to twist off again and say something egregious and horrible. And it's a disgusting ploy to keep the attention on him. Seth's not doing that. Seth's heart is broken. You get on your channel and you cry and act like a fool, like you want all these people to feel bad for you. Seth has no son, you crazy woman. So if Tony Mathis is the friend of Seth that can keep his foundation under his feet, it's not my place to judge that. It is my place as a human being to support Seth, whatever choice he wants to make. He's the one that has to survive his missing son. He's in survival, Julie. He doesn't give a shit about growing a YouTube channel. He's really suffering, not your petty crap. So if Seth is the one that can, if Tony is the one that can keep things together, if Seth trusts him, that is none of my business. And it damn sure is not my position to undermine that trust. You wanted in with this group of people. You wanted in with them, Julie. You will rue the day. Oh, she did, Lady for Justice. Oh, yeah, she did. She is a snake. At least other people are not pretending to be autism advocates. Oh, come to my channel. We support people on the spectrum. We help each other. We moms of autistic kids, we help each other. Come to my channel, subscribe while I destroy a man who has lost his child. I don't even know what kind of human being does these things. Is your life so empty of meaning, real accomplishment, that you just sit around bored and try to think of nonsense to stir up? Is that all that you got going in your life? There's a reason that people looked at Christopher Proudfoot and Katie, because Sebastian was in their home when he went missing, Julie. Because there are 6 CPS reports, Julie, that name Christopher Proudfoot and or Katie Proudfoot as an enabler. That's why people looked into them. I mean, I know you're struggling with this. Maybe you're not very bright. You looking into the friends of a victim makes you disgusting. Like, truly, you're everything. Listen, Julie, you're everything that Cluminati and Queen Bee that they hate. Do you realize that? Have you figured that out? You are exactly the person that they all hate. Their message consistently has been, leave the victims alone, leave the families alone. Don't talk about extraneous things that are not associated with the disappearance. So what do? Another low-hanging fruit. You say, well, most people don't like Tony Mathis, and so I think I'll target him to destroy and build my channel on. I cannot even wrap my head around anyone that wants to cause that kind of pain. Truly. So Seth ends up sitting in another courtroom. You know, he went in support of Bullhorn Betty, someone who has consistently stood up for him, tried to do what she could to put pressure on about Sebastian. He was loyal. He went to all of her court cases. That's exactly the truth, Southern Charm. 100%. That is hitting the nail on the head. Yes. But you know, Seth went and supported them because these were people that were helping to look for his son. You know, Sebastian, the kid like Spencer. He's a hell of a lot better person than you are, Julie. Just by definition of his behavior alone. And he goes to court the other day, was April 30th, I think, Texana. Kathy Proudfoot, Christopher Proudfoot's mom, is paying Texana to sue Seth, the father of Sebastian. Sue him. Like, what are you people? Do any of you guys have the tiniest little sense of empathy? And he has to be there, y'all. He has to be there. He has to be there in court. And Christopher Proudfoot, you fucker, you little fucker, the destruction that you have personally put your fingerprint on. What, it wasn't enough? You decided to get mommy in on the act? Is that what you want to know something, Christopher? I would fight tooth and nail any family members, any of my friends that tried to willfully hurt a victim of such a horrible crime. I wouldn't allow that. And you, as the supposed stepfather, what's wrong with you? What, mommy was so bad to you growing up, you're just afraid of her? Is that the deal? You people are disgusting. Well, I am a believer in karma. I am a believer in karma. And I understand people being attracted to this type of social media, the narcissistic supply that you can get from being a creator and such. I understand that it attracts a lot of really unhealthy people. I get that. I'm good with that. But what kind of monster are you when you look at a dad who is clearly what kind of what kind of monster are you when you can look at a dad who is so hurt, not only by his son going missing, but an angry and aggressive stepfather who continually calls him my son, my son. He's got a dad. He's not your son, Christopher. Seth is his father, whether you like it or not. Katie met Chris out in California, and Chris wanted to bring her back to Tennessee, just like he did with Nina. And she wanted to go. And Seth said, okay, I'll come too, so I can see my son. This does not sound like a monster to me. Sounds like a good guy, really. And of all you people that point the finger at Seth, sitting alone in the courtroom when he went and he supported other people that were having court problems, no one was there for him that day. When Texana and Christopher Proudfoot's mother dragged him into court for bullshit against his son, no one was there. What is wrong with you guys? Like, really? I did not hear Seth telling people to start a shotgun. That was your son, Katie Proudfoot. Your child is the one who said that disgusting comment on social media. Your child, your little bouncing baby boy did that, Katie Proudfoot. I'm not Katie, Kathy Proudfoot. And I didn't hear Seth at all say that someone should go and commit an act of pedophilia against a fat baby. That was your son, Kathy Proudfoot. Your son, Christopher Proudfoot, is the one that said that. And it is with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And I never, ever heard Seth say anything like promoting gang rape of a female YouTube creator that he didn't know. That was actually your child, Kathy Proudfoot. It was your child, Christopher Proudfoot, that said that online. And that is also with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the state of Tennessee. Kathy Proudfoot, Christopher Proudfoot's mother, is friend's employer of Texana. Texana is a creepy YouTube person who is suing Seth for basically slandering Sebastian. That's right. So you want to know why it is that Christopher Proudfoot gets online and calls women that he doesn't know sluts. Because he doesn't like what they're talking about. You want to know how a man can get online and say for someone to perform oral sex on a fat baby. Public statement for all the world to hear. You want to know how that's possible. Could it have something to do with a sadistic and manipulative mother when he was a child? Could that do it? Would that do the trick, maybe? Like, Christopher, the things that you said were not bad and gross and yucky. The things you said were obscenities. Like, legally, they rise to the crime of obscenity. You know that, right? Like, do you understand that? And do you understand that it is a crime to incite suicide in another? Do you know that, Christopher? I don't suspect that you care. My guess would be that I could not possibly say anything, nothing at all, that you haven't heard 10 times worse from the mouth of your own mother. So I'm not even going to try. But I think that everybody does need to know who it is that is doing this to Seth Rogers. The only person that acts like they loved Sebastian. Sebastian has gotten more attention and care and dedication and love from strangers than he ever got from Christopher Proudfoot, his mommy, Kathy Proudfoot, Bowersocks, and that man that she's married to. Or what about her daughter? Her daughter is just as horrible as Christopher Proudfoot. So somewhere there's law enforcement that are friendly with the Bowersocks and the Proudfeet. There's some connections with this family that they feel very confident. They feel untouchable. And here's the admonition. Here it is. Even I heard this even come out of Chris Proudfoot's mouth. you best be careful, because there's always someone out there that's meaner than you are. There's always someone out there that's smarter than you are. And there's some people out there that have a hell of a lot more money than you do, Kathy Proudfoot Bauer Socks. You think you just gonna go around destroying people's lives and people are just gonna lay down and take it? Who would even want to destroy this man's life? Who would even look at Seth and want to hurt him after what he has been through this last year? Who would want to do that? What kind of people would want to do that, Julie Skolnick? It's coming. It's coming. It's going to find y'all.